Hi there, it's really nice that you're watching. My name is Chantal Inen, founder of the Punchy Pack. And in the last 8 months, we've been working with 6 teams of young professionals to develop an impact case in the Partnership Verkiezing. And now you're about to watch the video podcast. I present to you Team Achmea.
All right, so welcome everyone from Achmea. Thank you for joining. What is the big idea that you have all been working on?
Yeah, so we're working on creating an inclusivity track that focuses on changing the behavior of managers through making new habits. We do this in collaboration with the Microhabit company. So they are a startup currently, and they are part of the Achmea Innovation Hub, which means that they are currently in an accelerator program, trying to get them from startup to scale up as quickly as possible. And when Achmea does that, it basically means that they see a lot of potential in a company to grow and that they stand behind the mission. And what the Microhabit company does is they focus on changing behavior, and they use habits for that because knowledge isn't enough. So you probably know the 5 fruits and vegetables thing that people always tell you to do, like you have to eat 5 fruits and vegetables every day.
Yeah.
Since that campaign started, people actually started eating less fruits and vegetables, even though everyone now knows that they should be eating 5 fruits and vegetables per day.
Okay, but it sounds admirable. And we'll get into a bit more of the nitty-gritty of how it's going to work as we continue the conversation. And how do you describe, Sanne, how you go from agreeing, okay, we all care very much about equality, to we want to change our leaders' habits with respect to how they behave, or to making the workplace safer for underrepresented groups? How do you get from that point to the idea?
Well, we saw, so how we got to the queer group in the first place is when we looked at desk research, we saw that there's a big problem there. So, for instance, 30% of queer employees don't feel safe to be themselves, to be open about their sexual or gender identity on the workplace. That's a big number, 30%. So we really saw that there was a big issue there. Also, 20% of queer employees suffer from burnout symptoms, which is significantly higher than non-queer people. So we saw there was a big issue there, and that's why we wanted to address that issue. And then when looking into solutions, we saw that we would have to focus on a broader group, so the broader target group of underrepresented people, because when you start talking about an inclusivity track, you can't just focus on just queer. So we broadened our target group, and also when going into that and doing desk research along those lines, so the broader group, we saw, for instance, that 40% of people say that they don't feel like everybody's treated equal in the workplace. So also 40%, huge number. So we saw that there's a really big problem in the workplace with inclusivity and people feeling safe in their workplace.
But if we zoom in on that decision to make it broader, isn't there also an argument that more focus would actually give more, lead to more or faster change?
Yeah. The problem is that there's so many underrepresented groups where there are a lot of mental health issues. So the problem with focusing just on one small part is that you're missing out on a lot of groups that also need help. So this is also when developing the track, which we're in the middle of now, is a challenge, exactly, because you want to find the habits that will make the most change for the largest number of people, so the most groups. So that's what we're looking for right now with behavioral experts and the Microhabit company. How can we make the most impact for the most underrepresented groups?
Let's move a little bit beyond the research that you did at the desk and to the field research. Nana, what did you learn through that process? Who did you talk to? What were the reactions?
Yeah, it was the most fun part as well. So we talked to a lot of people. For example, we talked to colleague of ours, and she experienced microaggressions, not only during work but also outside of work. And that's also a little bit of desk research, but 64% of the queer community experiences those microaggressions on a weekly basis. So she also gave an example that she talked about her partner to her colleagues, but their colleagues assumed that their partner was of the opposite gender. So that was a little bit frustrating for her all the time. So another example is that if there was a topic related to the queer community inside of the company, then everyone assumed that she was going to take place in that project. So, but that's not something she always wanted to do, and that she was also glad as well.
How did she react when you
Exactly, yeah. So now we are taking action on that topic, and she was very glad that we did.
Yeah. And in general, were the reactions, I don't know, positive, or people were wary, or actual pushback that we don't need this now?
No, they were actually pretty happy that we taking action on this one. Yeah. Because most of the time the queer community needs to do it themselves all the time. If they want to do something inside of the company, it's fine. They want to help a little bit as well, but they also always need to take the actions themselves. And now we're finally doing it.
And in general, I mean, when you think about the times that we live in at the moment, there does seem to be a lot of pushback on these sorts of initiatives. Is that something that you've felt the more that you've been exploring them?
When we were talking internally, not really. Actually, even more that's a reason why we should be doing this. Because our employer is really big on being the best employer of the Netherlands. Like that's one of their goals, and also for everyone. So they're really already set on the diversity and inclusion thing, like they find it important. So we spoke to some managers within the company. They all really liked the idea. They were like, oh yeah, you should do this, like this is necessary, because some of them also struggle with it. Like if they see a microaggression, they don't know how to react. Or like, what should I say something or shouldn't I say something? How do I say something? Like what is expected from me? So that would help a lot in that sense. And we also spoke to our internal DEI department, and they also really like it because they're also working on finding ways like, okay, how can we make actual change instead of just giving people an extra training?
Although to me, it does feel like an extra training because you've got this company, they do a lot of habits-related trainings, and now you're just kind of, there's an add-on. So what's the real, like, why is that the thing that's going to unlock?
Because it's not really a training. So yes, there are videos in the track, but in reality, it's also like a bit of gamification. So you will see your habits and it will be like, oh, did you ask your coworkers today about a different opinion that they have? And then you check it or not. So it's really small things that you can do within 5 minutes in a day that have been proven to change your behavior. Because if you do it, like, I think it's 21 days, then it becomes a habit.
Gotcha. And what happens if it doesn't become a habit? Like, do you tie, I don't know, penalties is a big word, but is there a consequence for people whose habits don't change?
It's not yet in the track. So for now we focus on the track and our new topic in the track. But we are also talking about the MBO, the employee satisfaction research. And there you can, of course, check how inclusive your manager is and how inclusive the team is.
But also you want to measure what does this track do. So if people do this track, do people in their teams actually feel like they are working in a more inclusive space, more safer space? So we have talked about adding some kind of inclusivity or safety measure into the satisfaction survey. So those are some next steps to which we can use to measure the effect of this track.
And what's the reception like been in Achmea itself among the leadership, let's say, to this idea?
Very positive. So I feel like everyone we talk to feels like this is something we should work on And most managers we talk to are very open to working on a more inclusive workspace, definitely.
I mean, for a lot of people, they might think it's just one extra thing they have to now do.
Yeah.
Do you feel that as well, or?
Yeah, I feel that a lot of managers have to do a lot of trainings, and you hear them talking about that. So that's definitely an issue. And I think the people we talk to are all very passionate about inclusivity. So the people we talk to are all very motivated to work on that. So we might have a little bias in the managers we talk to.
Those kinds of insights that you're sharing about what it's like in the workplace are pretty eye-opening. I know for myself, when I was working in a corporate environment, I often felt like I had to put a mask on, experienced microaggressions of my own that really made me feel uncomfortable, unhappy. Kind of makes me wonder, okay, how about you? Are you all able to feel yourself at work?
Yeah, so for me, like I don't fully feel like I can be myself at work. And it's partially because whenever there's a topic around Black people, like they kind of ask me because I'm the only Black person in my department. Oh, no, wait, not anymore. I'm the only Black woman in my department. So that sometimes makes it a bit hard.
Yeah. You feel like you feel awkward.
Yeah, it's more like
because you can feel their awkwardness.
Yeah, it's that a lot. So it's not that they mean anything by it. I think they don't realize that they're doing it. So that always does make it a bit better because like I know it's not meant to harm me, but sometimes it just feels a bit awkward.
What's it like for you as a team to hear such a personal and painful story?
Very eye-opening to hear what like a not safe workspace does to someone. And we've spoken to several people where you just feel how much it impacts them and their mental well-being. Another example is we spoke to a woman with a disability, and she, like from school onwards, already felt like, of course she's different, but she was always reminded of that, and she felt like she had to fit this normal mold, whatever's normal. And she was always felt really held back by that. And then now she's working in a workplace where there's just a really open culture, and they really play into her strengths at work, and they value her opinion. She can be herself. She feels completely safe in the workspace, and you can hear how much impact that has on her and how that affects her mental health in a positive way, just having a safe workspace.
Yeah, you're no longer defined by your disability.
Exactly, yeah.
It's liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you flourish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how she felt.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about, I guess, the business case, because to a large extent there is, I think, a moral obligation for companies to pursue equality, but is your leadership going to be saying, okay, yeah, but why should we be investing? If they say that, why should we be investing in this? What would you say to them?
We would say that's being inclusive. It means that everyone joins your company. And nowadays you also see that a lot of vacancies are not being filled in. So you want to be more inclusive because you want to have a lot of people inside of your company. And also with inclusiveness comes creativity as well.
Yeah, creativity, productivity, also less non-attendance. So less people falling out of work.
Yeah. So it literally affects the bottom line, of your balance sheet. Yeah. The more inclusive you are, the more profit you'll end up making. There are also surveys that suggest that. Okay. In practice, though, what support would you need from your own employers in order to kind of make this idea a reality?
Basically, what we need is, at least for some of them, to join. So we have like some talks already with...
so it wouldn't be obligatory?
We are like a large company, so it always goes in steps. So we first start with more of a pilot, and that pilot we need like some departments, so some managements of some departments to join. So we already have some talks about that to ask them to join, and we do pick them a bit. So there are departments that right now have like in their year goals that they want to focus on becoming a more inclusive environment because they know they're not, or they know it's like something they can work on a bit more. So we will target those, of course, because if you already know like, oh, this is one of the things I want to work on, then our solution can help you work on that.
Yeah.
And that's to also show like, okay, what works, what doesn't work, to then further improve the proof of concept. And we're also looking for that in other companies.
In other companies outside. Yeah. Ah, okay. And are there any other dream partners that you have to kind of amplify this project? Or is it Microhabits and Achmea, you guys make a big agreement and then take over the world, make the world more inclusive?
No, of course not. We need experts.
Okay.
Experts on the topic of creating inclusive workspaces. So we're talking to those as well.
How would they be, would the program be expanded? So it's not just habits then, it's also inspirational talks, or why do you need those experts?
We need those experts for the knowledge in general, because like we learned a lot, but there are people who know a lot more, to make sure we pick the right problems to focus on and that we pick the right solutions for that. So they help develop the program that we're making.
Right. Okay. So you're going to develop the program with Microhabits and the help of experts to ensure that you pick the right habits for people to focus on. And then you'll roll that out in workshops with leadership or? Yeah.
So it's part workshops. It's part more an app where they can track their habits.
Yeah.
And then there's also knowledge in the app for if you want to learn more. Because it's always useful to know more. It's just that it doesn't lead to change directly. You need to add other things.
And there's also in the microhabit tracks, there's also like a feedback loop. So the manager themselves can say like how well they think they did in a certain track and how well they feel like they incorporated the habits and how this has changed their behavior. But also the team can give feedback on certain points of the manager that they have worked on. So you get that feedback loop also.
Yeah. I imagine the team feedback is more valuable.
Yeah, I imagine that too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm great. Exactly. Okay, super. Okay, let us pretend that the ideal decision maker is watching at home. I'd love, maybe, Aniek, you can kind of
call to action.
Yeah, share a call to action.
Yes.
What do you need in order to scale this idea up?
Yes, it's proven that a social inclusive work environment increases creativity, productivity, and mental health. So if you want to profit from that, please reach out to us and then we can connect and make an impact together.
Super. Now, well said. Your people clapping, your colleagues here are clapping. I'm sure they're clapping at home as well and in the office. So wish you all the best. I believe in it. I back you guys. So well done. And make the world more inclusive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.